Congratulations on being awarded a grant from Northeast SARE. Hi, I'm Vander Gag, Northeast SARE's Communication Specialist. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you received a link to it in an email along with the contracting forms required for your Northeast SARE grant project. All SARE grants require a contract in order for reimbursement of approved project expenses. Correctly completing required forms is one of the main things that can hold up getting a contract in place. So we've created this video to provide information and support to make completing forms easier for our grant recipients. The images of forms in this video are for illustrative purposes only, as forms can change with each grant cycle. Please complete the forms attached to the email that you received with the link to this video. Here are some common questions you might have about the grant contracting process. Northeast SARE's host institution is the University of Vermont, UVM, and our funding comes from the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, NIFA. UVM's Department of Sponsored Project Administration, SPA, oversees and supports our grant contracts, ensuring that federal requirements are met. Northeast SARE contracting staff determine what forms each grant award needs to complete based on a few factors, including the organization classification, i.e., for-profit business, nonprofit, federal institution, the amount of your SARE grant, and if your organization has previously received a grant from Northeast SARE. Within days of award notification, grantees receive an email including the forms to complete as an attachment. It also provides information about the contracting process. We love to receive forms completed correctly the first time they are returned to us. You can always contact us with questions by email at northeastsare@uvm.edu or by phone at 802-656-7655, and we will gladly help you with any questions. In order to contract your grant as quickly as possible, please return completed forms within 2 weeks after receiving the forms request email. If you need more time, please contact us and request an extension. Here is some critical forms information you should review before working on your forms. If your forms email states that you are receiving a federal subaward contract, it is mandatory that your organization have an active registration in sam.gov in order to do business with the federal government. If you do not have an active sam.gov registration, SARE strongly urges you to begin setting that up immediately upon receipt of your forms email, as it takes time to get that in place. One of the most important forms is the Subrecipient Commitment and Audit Certification Form, or SRC. This form gathers an organization's information needed to conduct risk assessment on that organization before issuing a contract. Organizations registered in the Federal Demonstrated Partnership Expanded Clearinghouse, FDP Clearinghouse, are only required to complete the top section and sections A, B, and F. All others must complete the entire form through section F. Here are some helpful hints for the SRC, beginning with the top section. Complete all information in the top section. Your forms request email contains the following information needed to complete the top section: UVM proposal number, project title, subrecipient PD/PI, period of performance dates, and total funds requested. Your UEI is found in your sam.gov registration. Cost share commitment. This should be $0. Next is Section A. Simply check off the 3 boxes for information already received in your proposal: statement of work, budget and justification, bio sketches of key personnel. Section B. Indicate if your research involves human subjects or animal research subjects. If you are unsure, reach out to the grant administrator for your project for support with answering this section. Section C. This is the section that most frequently contains errors, and the form will get sent back for correction before it can be submitted to UVM SPA for risk assessment. All questions in this section must be answered. However, remember, if your organization is registered in the FDP Clearinghouse, you do not have to complete this section. Questions 1 and 2. Reference your grant's budget and work with your organization officials to answer questions 1 and 2 about F&A rates and fringe rates. Don't forget to provide requested links if applicable. Question 3 must be answered. Question 4. To be eligible for federal funding, there should be no disbarments or suspensions. This question also must be answered. Question 5. An active SAM.gov registration is required. Please make sure your registration is in place and active before submitting this form as completed. Question 6. A single audit is an audit for organizations receiving federal funds in excess of $1 million. This is a specific federal audit in compliance with the Uniform Guidance 2 CFR Part 200, Subpart F. Be sure to thoroughly read the prompts in this section as you answer them. If you did not have a single audit, be sure to send the financial statements noted in Section 6B and complete all financial status questions in Question 7. Section F. Make sure to have your organizational official sign and complete this section. Section G. Don't complete or sign this section as it's for amendments. Let's take a look at Subrecipient Contacts, Attachment 3B. This form lists subrecipient contacts associated with the grant project and is inserted as part of the grant contract. Be sure to complete all sections. Frequently overlooked sections include institution type. Please select from the drop-down menu. Indicate whether you are registered in SAM.gov or not. Exempt from reporting executive compensation. If you answer no, be sure to complete 3B, page 2. Place of performance. Provide the physical address where the grant project will be done. Zip code +4. This is required for federal reporting. The next form is Disclosure of Lobbying Activities, SFLLL. This form is completed to disclose lobbying activities for grant recipients receiving more than $100,000. Several sections of the form are pre-filled by Northeast SARE. Complete the following sections. Section 4, Name and Address of Reporting Entity. Sections 10A and 10B. If your entity has paid or will pay funds for lobbying, enter all the details required in sections 10A and 10B. If your entity does not lobby, enter NA in sections 10A and 10B. Authorized official signature and contact information. Another form is the new Supplier W9 Form. This is required to set up a supplier file for organizations receiving payments and reimbursements from UVM and to comply with federal tax policy. The name that you provide on the W-9 is the name that your contract will be made out to and to whom project reimbursements will be paid. This should be the name on your income tax returns. UVM prefers that new suppliers, grantees, complete the UVM version of the W-9 rather than a federal version. The UVM version gathers more complete information for UVM to set up a supplier file. Please reference tips for filling out UVM new supplier form that is sent along with the W-9 form for guidance on completing the W-9. ACH Supplier Payment Enrollment Form. Complete this form if you wish to receive your reimbursement payments by Automated Clearinghouse, ACH, electronic funds transfer, also known as direct deposit. Guidance for completing this form can also be found on Tips for Filling Out UVM New Supplier Form. We hope that this video will be of assistance as you complete your required contracting forms. Please feel free to reach out at northeastsare@uvm.edu or by phone at 802-656-7655 with any additional questions. We look forward to working with you to advance sustainable agriculture in the Northeast.